So AI is coming for a lot of jobs, right? And because of that, everyone's talking about universal income. But what if the answer wasn't some government check, but a powerful economic engine that you could actually own and run right from your pocket? That's the idea we're going to dig into today.
Okay, so the big idea on the table is universal basic income, or UBI. The concept's pretty simple. You tax the new automated economy and give that money to people whose jobs have disappeared. But you gotta ask, as we're looking at this massive shift, is a simple government check really the best we can do? Is that the foundation we want to build our future on?
So, to get to a better, more durable solution, we kind of have to back up and rethink this whole free money model from the ground up. We need to look at the philosophy behind it. And this really shows you the fundamental shift in thinking. So on one side, you've got the classic UBI model. It's basically a handout, which, well, it creates dependency. It's a grant, a payment that can be changed or even just poof, canceled by whoever's in charge. But on the other side, you have this sovereign model. And this is totally different. The income isn't a gift. It's the yield you get from a productive asset that you personally own. An asset that's yours, period. No one can just take it away. And that right there brings us to the core idea we're talking about today. A whole new model that's not about periodic handouts. It's about ownership. Real, inalienable, individual ownership. And it's called Sovereign Universal Income, or SUI. Now, the concept is, it's simple, but it's also kind of revolutionary. The idea is, instead of waiting for a check, you become the owner of your own little digital workforce. So the income you get isn't a handout. It's actually earned by your AI agents out there doing real, valuable digital work. So, how does this actually work? Well, it's all built on three main pillars. First up, agent ownership. The idea is that your agent is built from your data, your logic. So legally, it's literally an extension of you. Pretty wild, right? Second is the digital deed. Now think of this like the title to your car or the deed to a house, but for your AI. It's locked on a secure chain, so nobody can ever say you don't own it. And third, and this is really clever, is the Robinhood protocol. This is this awesome built-in system where the most successful users automatically chip in a tiny bit to help subsidize access for people who've lost their jobs. So it funds itself from the top down. Okay, I know what you're thinking right now. An AI workforce for, what, every single person on Earth? The amount of computing power for that has to be absolutely insane, right? How in the world is that even remotely possible? That's the first thing that comes to mind, isn't it? You're picturing these giant, massive data centers, warehouses packed with servers, just chugging electricity to make this thing run. Well, what if I told you that's completely wrong? In fact, look at this. This right here. This is the proof. That's the entire core logic of the system getting hammered in a stress test, and it's running on a standard off-the-shelf smartphone. And look at that last line, homeostasis maintained. That means it didn't even break a sweat. It was perfectly stable under extreme load on a device you probably have in your pocket. So what's the magic trick here? How is that even possible? It all comes down to this one breakthrough technology, the Zero Token Prompt Protocol, or ZTPP. See, most AIs use natural language, which is messy and takes a ton of power. This thing doesn't. It uses these super efficient deterministic command codes. It's a whole new way for machines to talk to each other, perfectly and with almost no energy. And when I say efficient, it's just staggering. The whole thing, the entire protocol, is just 3.4 kilobytes. That's tiny. It's smaller than a simple email. You could literally send this thing over an old-school radio signal to a place with no internet at all. And the speed? It's even crazier. We're talking less than 1 microsecond of latency. Why? Because it all happens right there on the device. There's no waiting for a signal to go to a data center and come back. Decisions are, well, they're basically instant. So you take that tiny size, insane speed, what do you get? You get a system that can process 1.26 billion data packets every single second. That's so fast, it completely saturates the L2 cache on a modern smartphone chip. It's literally using every ounce of power your phone has. Okay, so the tech is legit. It's ridiculously efficient, but, a fancy engine is useless if you don't have any fuel. So the big question is, how does this thing actually make money? How does it create real sustainable value? Well, the economic engine behind it is called the triple split, and it's really elegant. Every time an agent does a job and earns something, that value gets split 3 ways, instantly and automatically. A huge 70% chunk goes straight to you, the owner. 20% goes to keep the lights on, operations, hardware, that kind of stuff. And then there's that last 10%, and that is where the real magic happens. That 10% gets fed into something called the liquidity forge. You can think of it like a tiny automatic tax on every single transaction. But here's the key. That tax money is immediately reinvested right back into the system's own reserves. What that does is create this amazing self-funding loop. The more work gets done, the stronger and more valuable the whole system becomes. And it does all this without needing a single cent from outside investors. And you know what else this does? It solves the #1 problem everyone has with UBI, inflation. You can't just print money out of thin air without creating real value to back it up. But this system is designed from the ground up to be production first. Value is only created when an AI agent does real, actual work. No work, no money. It's as simple as that.
And hey, this isn't just a white paper idea. Look at this. This is a real-time log from a simulation dated April 14th, 2026. You can see it right there. The system is churning through tasks, calculating the yield, and splitting it up 70, 20, 10. This is the economic engine, alive and running.
All right, so let's recap. The proof of concept, it runs on a phone. The economic model, it works. It's validated. So that leaves us with the really big question, the monumental one. How do you take this thing from one person's pocket and scale it up for, well, the whole world?
The plan is called the Pocket to Planet Roadmap. So right now, we're in the pocket phase. A regular smartphone can handle about 10 agents, which is perfect for proving that the logic works. But the goal, the planet part, is what they call the monolith. We're talking a beast of a server, 96 cores that can manage over 1 million agents at the same time. That's when you can start serving a real global workforce.
So what's stopping them from making that jump? It's what the project calls the Silicon Gap. And to grasp that gap, to build and fire up the very first monolith server, they need $1 million investment.
And that $1 million isn't just for a fancy new server. A big chunk goes to super intense security audits to make sure this thing is absolutely bulletproof. But maybe the most important part, it's for distribution. It's to get the first 10,000 of these pioneer nodes out there, into the hands of the people who've been displaced and need this the most. So, that's where we land. What started as a pretty radical idea is now, well, it's a real working piece of engineering. It completely changes how we think about work, about value, about what it means to own something. And so it leaves you with this one final, really big question to think about. If your phone could earn your living, if your income came from an asset that you owned, what would you do with your life?